Yo, welcome back, everybody. In this video, I'm just going to look at the college football rankings real quick. The top 25 poll, I think it came out early this morning. It was Sunday morning. I think, yeah, it was Sunday morning when they released this. That's 11/27/2022. I know I'm really late because it's already Monday morning. Happy Cyber Monday to all you people out there that unfortunately looking for more deals after Black Friday. I'm not looking forward to going into work today. But anyway, besides all that, so I'm just going to go through real quick because tomorrow on Tuesday will be like what will be the second to last playoff rankings because next week is championship weekend. So um, I guess I don't know where to start. I guess I'll go to. I want to say that for me. So I guess I'll start from the bottom. Let's see. So Mississippi State has gotten in. Um, Pretty much, you only have to really worry about the top 10 when it comes to the playoff rankings. But for the sake of the normal AP poll, I'm just going to start from the bottom. So Mississippi State, they upset Ole Miss. So that knocked them out of the rankings. North Carolina lost to NC State, dropped 6 spots. Wow, jeez. Um, that's insane. But that will be a very good game. That's the ACC championship game against Clemson. We'll get more into that later. Texas San Antonio, this first time in the rankings. They beat UTEP. They play North Texas. I believe this is the Conference USA rankings. Yes, Conference USA. Conference USA rankings. So that'll be the Conference USA championship game. UCF beat South Florida. Went up 3 spots. They will play Tulane in the. That is the. That's the AAC conference title game. That'll be a good game. We'll try to catch that. Texas beat Baylor. Moved them up 3 spots. They're done for the season. They have to wait for their bowl. South Carolina upset Clemson. Clemson has no business being in the top 10, but it is what it is. They have no shot for the playoff. It doesn't matter. So they'll be waiting for their bowl game. Notre Dame. I wanted Notre Dame to beat USC. Just too much. That Caleb Williams guy is just ridiculous. Like it was no stopping that guy, man. He was every time you think you got him for a sack, he'd run around and scramble and break tackles and find someone open or run for 20 yards. It was very, very ridiculous, very video game esque. He's playing. So, but we had a pretty good season. We started 1-2, 1-3, I think, and we were able to, we got back up to 8-4, got to a bowl. So we'll see where we'll go in a couple weeks. Tulane knocked off Cincy, who Tulane actually has a shot. If stuff goes, because basically they have a championship game, and these 4 teams ahead of them, they don't play again. And depending on what happens in the from 13 to 10, they have a chance to get into a New Year's Six bowl if they get past UCF. UCLA beat Cal. Their season's done. They'll be waiting for a bowl. Oregon State with an incredible comeback. I caught that game Saturday night. And yeah, that was a crazy comeback, man. But Oregon State, their season's done. But that was a very, very good end to the season. Oregon dropped 5 spots. Oregon, they had a slight chance to get in, but with that loss, that's done. I think basically USC is they're the only team in the Pac-12 that, if they win, they're pretty much in going by these standings. But I'll get into this in a minute and why I'll get into these top 5 or 6 teams in a second, and what I think is going to happen on Tuesday. Florida State. Florida State's had a quiet year, 9-3. They beat Florida, in-state rival. Um, good for them. They'll have they'll be off. They'll be waiting for that bowl game invite. Let me see Florida. Florida was six. Wow, 6-6. Jeez. Now they had a tough year this year. Okay. Lost to Vandy. Wow. Rough year for them. See. Number 13, got Kansas State, who beat Kansas. I feel so bad for Kansas because Kansas had something going. They were like the Cinderella team early, and then the quarterback got hurt, and they just never recovered. But yeah, maybe next year, maybe they'll do something next year. If they just continue to build on it, they can be like a little dark horse out the Big 12. But Kansas State, they won that game. They do have number 3 TCU. TCU can play. Kansas State can play spoiler to TCU, but I don't see that happening. I think TCU is trying to do something special, get into the playoffs. I had that undefeated. Prove to these guys that they're for real. Utah beat Colorado. Of course, Colorado's bad. I didn't want to make this. So there's a thing about Colorado. I think I might actually make the video because there's some things I want to talk about pertaining to not just Colorado, but there's a whole situation with this school. So I may make it at some point. Just depends on what's going on. But yeah, so they play Utah. Jesus Christ. Utah plays USC, and they had the chance to play spoiler and basically knock them out. Because with 2 losses, that's pretty much it. Especially you didn't win the conference title, you're not getting in. You have to win. That's my criteria to get in. You have to win the conference title, and no more than 1 loss, unless there's like some pandemonium at the top. Then you can get in maybe with 2 losses, but that's not happening this year. But I'll get into that later. LSU pooped the bed against Texas A&M. Now LSU was my team to get in with 2 losses. They had got in and then beat Georgia. I think they could have found their way into it. Knocking out Georgia, even with 2 losses, you'd have an SEC title, and I think that would have been more than enough to get into the playoffs. Clemson, you already know they lost to South Carolina. They did not deserve to be a top 10 team at all this year. Their quarterback is just really, he is just not good, man. If he was playing anywhere else, first of all, they wouldn't be talking about him. But I don't understand. I was thinking a couple of days ago after the game, or not after the game. A couple of days ago. It was yesterday. I was thinking to myself, why didn't Dabo why didn't he pull him out early in the season? Because he did the same thing with the guy. There was a guy, I can't remember his name. The year Trevor Lawrence took over and won, he wasn't playing all that well. And he decided, you know what, let me go with Trevor and see what happens. And the rest is history. They won the title that year, and they didn't lose another game till, I think, was it the national championship or the first game in the playoff? But they were unstoppable with Trevor Lawrence pretty much till they got to that point. They didn't lose another game. So I guess Dabo's in a predicament where either they don't have a reliable backup, or DJ is just very, very. He just has so much faith in that kid, and it's like, not to this degree, man. There's some weeks they should have lost. They really should have, before this game. They should have had like 2 more losses at the minimum. It doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. They played North Carolina. I think North Carolina will win that game. I think they have the better quarterback. a better running attack. They can run the ball like no business, and their defense is pretty good. I think North Carolina will take the ACC title game. Washington State or Washington, they beat Washington State. They went up 3 points, 3 spots, so they're number 9. Unfortunately, they're not going any further. Like I said, unless there's some pandemonium in the top 4, pretty much everyone after Alabama have really doesn't haven't really they really have no shot to get in. Penn State beat Michigan State handily. Their season's done, so they'll be waiting for ball as well. Tennessee shut out Vanderbilt, no surprise, and then Alabama beat Auburn in the Iron Bowl. So let's get into the top 5. Ohio State lost convincingly to Michigan. Not only did they not play a conference title game, but they will not be their playoff hopes are done. I think realistically, when the playoff rankings come out next week, I think they're going to put Alabama 5. They're essentially going to move everyone up. They're going to move Ohio State down to 7, and then put Alabama and Tennessee. Or maybe they'll flip. They'll put Tennessee. So it'll be Tennessee 5, Alabama 6, and Ohio State 7. Only because you can't keep Alabama ahead of Tennessee because Tennessee beat Alabama. Although they lost to Georgia bad, you still can't. If you go head to head, they had the tiebreaker. They beat them, so you can't. I don't think you can put Tennessee, behind. You can't keep them behind Alabama. I think you move Ohio State down to 7. You keep everyone else the same. Penn State will be 8, Washington 9, Clemson's 10. And that's how that'll roll. Everyone outside of 5. USC squeaked out against Notre Dame. Like I said, Notre Dame was getting at them, but Caleb Williams was just so elusive, man. So that would be a good one against Utah. I think USC is going to get it close. I like Utah. I like what they do. But I think, like I said, if Caleb Williams just keeps playing the way he does, I don't think, even offensively, I don't think it won't be enough. USC just has more talent. You know what I mean? So I think USC will stay at 4. They'll get in. They'll get that spot. TCU destroyed Iowa State. Then they had like 27 points in the first quarter, if I remember. When watching that game, they were up like 27-7 at half, and then it exploded. I think TCU will win against Kansas State, even though this would be a great win for Adrian Martinez. If you haven't seen my other videos about him, I think it's so cool how he was able to resurrect his college football career, because Nebraska was going to tear that guy apart, man. Nebraska is just so bad. And the fact that I brought him up is another thing about the Colorado situation. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm about to say. When I make this video, you'll know what these two schools have in common, Nebraska and Colorado, in a certain situation. But yeah, I think TCU gets in, finish 13-0. They'll get that third spot. All right, then we got Michigan playing Ohio State. Like I said, they beat Ohio State soundly, very convincingly, very, very convincingly. They had Purdue for the Big Ten championship game. So unless Purdue pulls a rabbit out of their hat, I'm pretty sure the spread for that has got to be like 28. It's got to be. Actually, let me see something. I usually don't care about spread because I don't bet like that. Not when it comes to spread. What the? No, man. That's not what I want to look at. All right, let's see what happens. So 89% Michigan. So the spread. Wow, spread is only 16. Huh. Over under is 51. Huh. That is that is shocking, actually. So they're basically only 2 touchdown favorites. Really? Huh. And the over under is 51. So that's my unless Michigan blows them out. 51 points is 20, like if you split it in half, it's 26-25. But it's a 16-point spread. So they're looking at like 31 to 50, 30. So that's like four. How did you even split that up? So I guess they're looking at like a 35 to 16 or something like that. 35 to 19. No, that's over 51. 31. No, 32 to 19 would be 51 points. Yeah. Yes, something like that. Wow, that's actually very. I don't know. I guess because it's a championship game. But I expected that spread to be so much bigger because I don't. Purdue doesn't have any. Purdue doesn't really have any shot against them. I don't think. Like unless they just have a bad game. I don't. I think Michigan wins very easily. Huh. I don't know. We'll see next Saturday though. And then obviously you got Georgia beat up on Georgia Tech, rivalry game. They got LSU. Now, this is tricky. But this is what I'm talking about because they're going to see what I say about the Ohio State thing. So this is the AP poll. The AP poll is always different from the playoff poll. The playoff basically when it comes to the playoffs, ignore the AP polls. Okay, you only when it comes to the college football player, you focus on one through seven, 1 through 8, depending on the situation. We're going to do 1 through 6, 1 through 7 in this case, because right, I have it when the playoff poll comes out. It's going to be Georgia, Michigan, TCU, USC. There's going to be Alabama, Tennessee, Ohio State. I think they they were generous in knocking them down 3 points because they they're expecting someone in the top four to lose so they can get a second. Um, Basically, they want a second Big Ten school, which is unusual because they usually are trying to get 2 SEC teams because the college football just love the SEC so much. They want as many of them teams in the playoffs so they can get as much exposure as possible. So, but so what I'm thinking is if LSU can pull off this win and beat Georgia, right? It's a long shot because they've been kind of lackadaisical the last couple of weeks. Ever since that game against Alabama, they just been kind of so wishy washy. I think it was what Kentucky was it Kentucky, and then last week was A&M. Who did they play? Arkansas. It was Arkansas, UAB, and A&M. So I think they got kind of a little too they got a little too ahead of themselves after that win. Um, and then right as you can see, LSU's Daniels in the boot. I didn't know he got hurt in the game Saturday night. That's a big difference. If he's not playing, that takes out your best chance to win. But if he plays to some degree, I think they can at least try to match up with them to some degree and try to beat them and make it close. But I think Georgia's going to be too much. I'd love to see Brian Kelly get his first SEC championship in his first year at the school. But I don't think they haven't been playing that well the last few weeks anyway. If it wasn't for that UAB game sandwiched in between, they'd have 2 weeks back to back where they were just kind of mediocre. Um, So yeah, so basically that's what's going to happen. Everyone, I think everything stands chalk. They're all going to be close. I don't that Purdue this right this Michigan Purdue thing is going to be a wipeout. But every other conference title game in the top four will be it'll be chalk. So like I said, so one more time, when the playoff rankings come out Tuesday, in my opinion, it's going to be Georgia, Michigan, TCU, USC, Alabama, Tennessee, and Ohio State. I would love to flip Tennessee and Alabama, but I think Tennessee, I think they're going to use that bad loss of Georgia against them, even though Tennessee beat them, to put them they'll still be behind them. They'll just be a spot behind. But so yeah, that's the college football rankings for this week, and I will see you guys next one later.